Hey there, we are going to win from the number one pick in your fantasy football draft. Kind of just using basic settings here 12 team league, full PPR, and of course, a lot of leagues are doing away with kicker in defense and that kind of thing, as you should, and doing super flex too. But we're just going to keep it real traditional, real standard. Regardless of what kind of league you're in, it should still apply to some degree, especially since you're not drafting kicker defense till the very end, anyways. So they don't really matter. Also, we are using the draft simulator over at Fantasy Pros. Don't really have an affiliate link to throw at you or anything, but I do suggest signing up for it because it's really awesome and you can sync it with your league. And also for the sake of this video and showing you, how you can navigate a draft like this, you can just do this over and over and over again and just practice for your draft. It doesn't really replicate the real life draft as far as some things when you do mocks some things are gonna happen that just aren't gonna happen in a real draft, and vice versa. In the real draft, you just don't know how it's gonna go down. So obviously, it's a little bit more helpful in a draft, like with your friends or family or something, because you have an idea of what their tendencies are gonna be. But what we're doing here is looking at what the ADP is going to be pushing out to us and looking at the players we want to be targeting, and also just kind of on the fly in real time as I'm doing this, looking at how do we adjust to the draft and how do we come out with the best draft possible. So that's just really the process that I go through, just to kind of to prove. So you have a visual here of showing you, oh, if I have the number one pick of my draft, probably going to draft Jamar Chase. There are other options to me, and I'll go over the other options as far as like what I'm feeling for the 2025 fantasy season, and we'll just go from there. All right, so overall, it's going to give you a suggestion. 93% of the experts want Jamar Chase, first overall. I agree with that just because he was a monster last year. The Bengals were a top 10 offense across the, especially passing. Their defense is abysmal. Nothing's really going to change. Jamar Chase got his money. He's a beast. He's going to be highly targeted, and the Bengals are going to be throwing a ton. I think they're like number 2 in pass rate on the year. So in a full PPR league, it doesn't make that much sense to go away from Chase just because, you're trying to kind of create a narrative to not have him for some reason. So he looks amazing. You can certainly go with Jettas, just Justin Jefferson. You can go to CD. You can go Bijan. You go Saquon. You can even go Jahmyr Gibbs, if you want to. Those are probably the best options, but I think Jamar Chase is just the guy. So whatever the case may be, you can pick whoever you want. The point is you're only going to get one of those guys in that first slot, and then we have to go and look at what else is available to us. So I have Jamar Chase. I can actually have my team over here. So we have Jamar Chase locked in. That means we for sure have probably at the minimum a top 5 wide receiver on the year. So we have an absolute stud, and our anchor, barring injury, Jamar Chase should have 10 plus touchdowns, 13 plus, 1,300 plus yards, probably 100 catches. So he's just going to be a beast, and we're going to lock that in. So the second spot, after you had to wait a bunch of picks, since you picked number 1 in a 12-team league, that's 24 picks there. You can do a lot of different things, but obviously you're going to get to pick 2 times too. So you can certainly go get another stud wide receiver or a stud running back. You can go down and dip for a Trey McBride if you want to. I do not suggest going tight end this early in the draft, just my personal strategy. A lot of people want to go get Brock Bowers or Trey McBride. Yes, they're studs. That is elite production there. I just think there is value at tight end. I would not go for quarterback this early either. I know Lamar Jackson, Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts, they are game changers. Of course, you could go and complete the stack with Joe Burrow. I just don't think that's the way you want to build your roster. So here, I do want to get a stud running back. I am looking at Chase Brown or JT. I just think this Bengals offense is once again going to be just lights out for fantasy. Chase Brown is a beast. I was on him last year going into the season. I'm all over him again. This is good value here. You're basically getting him as a round 3 pick at the 2.12. You could also go JT. I like him quite a bit as well. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab Chase Brown here, and obviously I'm going to get a pick again. I like the value and depth at wide receiver on the year. Absolutely. You could talk me into Ladd McConkey, JSN. I don't really want Tyreek, but you could talk me into those guys for sure. But I'm just not really going to get another opportunity to get somebody like JT and Chase Brown at running back. And also in a format where, I have to start 3 wide receivers. I can start a wide receiver in my flex pretty comfortably. I'm just going to get the 2 best running backs I can get and then move along. So I'm going to get JT, who I really like. I do like Chuba Hubbard as well, but I do think we can circle back and get a decent value. So here, still looking at wide receiver as well. DJ Moore I do like, but I'm not going to trust the expert consensus here. I'm going to go for a little bit more upside, in my opinion. I think Ted McMillan, if he hits as well as a rookie is capable of hitting, I think he's going to have a monster year for the Panthers. I'm actually really high on Bryce Young as like a really, really nice value late in drafts if you want to wait on quarterback, which is something I'm going to do. So I'm going to go grab Ted McMillan, and I'm going to have another good wide receiver, and I will actually also come back and get Chuba Hubbard just because I do want to have that depth at running back. And then we're coming back again because this thing moves really fast. It's not waiting. I love the value. Look at this. Jalen Waddle, Chris Olave. I am loaded at wide receiver here. I can actually keep loading up if I want to. But, of course, as you always want to do, you want to adjust to how the draft is performing for you. Let's see. We don't have a tight end or a quarterback yet. We're getting a little bit later in the draft now. Let's see. What do we have at tight end? We can certainly look at Evan Ingram, David Njoku. I like them a lot. But I am going to be holding out for Tyler Warren or Tucker Kraft. I think the preseason showed us right away that Tyler Warren is a guy that they're going to manufacture touches for. Technically, I would prefer Daniel Jones to be starting under center to really fully buy in on Tyler Warren. I just think they're so high on him. His first-round pick, great athlete, monster production at Penn State. I just think he's going to have a really big year. So I do not mind taking a chance and waiting on him. I also do like Tucker Kraft quite a bit. There's even, Jake Ferguson. It's not bad fallback options here. Dallas Goedert, Dalton Kincaid, not the worst in case you do miss out on Warren, but he's the guy who I'd be waiting for. At quarterback, Justin Fields is the guy I really, really like. So I'm going to go lock him in. Almost a 9th-round pick here for getting Fields, who we know historically has top 10 upside. So just an immense value. And he did look good in preseason too, so that never hurts. We can just go check over who do we have. Javonte Williams. I don't think we have to go reach for that yet. Pearsall, though, I'm very high end, and also Emeka Egbuka looks really good as well. I just think who am I going to trust a little bit more going into this year? A rookie or a guy who did show flashes and could have a monster role with no Debo, Ayuk on the up, Juwan Jennings trying to get traded. Pearsall is a smash play on my bench right now. I feel really good about that. Not that I don't feel good about Egbuka. He looks really, really good too. Kicking back over to tight end. This is where it gets a little bit tricky. You do have to consider, do I just go grab a safe guy like Evan Ingram or David Njoku, or do I just reach for Tyler Warren at this point? Go over and check the depth here once again. I am not going to reach just yet because the value here, that's another big thing. Whether you're picking it first or not, you just need to kind of read the room and see where the value's at. And I think the value is immense with Jerome Ford or Dylan Sampson, with Quinshon Judkins, his situation just being like a total unknown. So right now I am aiming high, and this is a shot. I think you do need to take these kind of shots as you go, and it's going to be Dylan Sampson for me. First-year players, not always easy to trust. That situation needs to kind of flesh itself out, but he has the best ceiling after Judkins. If Judkins is actually not going to play or miss a ton of the season, Sampson looks like a really, really good play. At wide receiver, we can go back and look. Luther Burden's really interesting. Trey Harris is interesting, although his stock is not quite as enticing as it was now that Keenan Allen's there. He's having drop issues. I'm not saying I would avoid Trey Harris, especially at this price in late round 10. Actually, this is 11-1 here. So I would definitely be, keep him in the player pool. I'll kick you back to tight end, though. And here, I think you can certainly go safe with somebody like Evan Ingram or Njoku. I am going to aim high, though, and get Tyler Warren because I don't think he's going to be there after my next batch of picks here. After this pick here, I think it's possible he would be gone. So at this point, I'm going to go get some depth. Jalen Wright, Blake Corum, that's probably what I'm looking at here. We see I have 1, 2, 3. I got 5 running backs. That's good. I don't need to keep going. At running back, we can take a shot on somebody else. Wide receiver room is not looking amazing. Jack Bashir is probably the one I'd look at the most. But the fact that I did draft a quarterback so late like Justin Fields, and it is the Jets, and it is Justin Fields, things could go bad. So I do want to go back and look at quarterback and see if there's somebody that I want to get that I'm high on. I think Purdy's okay. Herbert's pretty good. All these guys have Like Purdy's probably got the safest floor, but all these guys have reasonably high ceilings. The guy I want though that I like the most is going to be Jordan Love. I think he is in for monster touchdown regression. I think everybody's all about Josh Jacobs, which there's nothing wrong with that. Josh Jacobs is a beast. He was a beast last year. He's going to be a beast again to a certain degree. I think they're going to scale back the volume a little bit, and I do think for the amount they're in the red zone and how efficient they can be, I think Jordan Love's going to benefit from that quite a bit. Plus, they got Matthew Golden. I like Jordan Love a lot going into 2025. So him and Fields are two of my favorite value plays at quarterback, and Dak Prescott is another as far as like guys you can get, anywhere between round 8 and round 15. All right, so we're almost wrapping up here. We got one more spot to fill before defense and kicker, and we have 3, 4, 5 really good wide receivers in terms of upside and floor. Like Olave is a stud in the making as long as he doesn't get another concussion. And if he does get a concussion, we have Ricky Pearsall, who has a monster role. Certainly, Ricky Pearsall could still struggle, but everybody here at this point has a little bit of risk. Waddle even has risk, but Waddle with Tyreek Hill trade rumors and just Tua Tagovailoa healthy, Waddle has a really high ceiling as well. So across the board, we're looking pretty good, but we're looking for one more depth piece to feel pretty good about, probably kicking over to wide receiver or running back. So far, nobody I see at this point. This is a good handcuff opportunity for me. DJ Giddens did get he got the RB2 work with behind JT in the preseason game. That alone doesn't tell me everything, but Giddens, it was a very good college running back, and possibly went to the 6th round. He's a lot better than that. Certainly could have looked at Taj Brooks, Woody Marks, Will Shipley. Those are decent handcuffs in general and just nice bench stashes. But I'm just going for the full handcuff, and we could certainly do it again. And I don't see why not, going and getting a Taj Brooks to handcuff him to Chase Brown if you want to. But for the sake of just filling out our roster, I'm going to look at the defense. We know the Chiefs have really good defense. Houston's pretty good too. A little bit more confident in the Chiefs defense. Kick it over to kicker to wrap things up. And I'm interested in Tyler Loop and Young Hoku just because I know those offenses are stable. Jake Moody to a lesser extent. I'm going to roll with Koo just because I'm very high on the Atlanta offense. Then we get a little bit of draft analysis. A-, 91 out of 100 from the Fantasy Pros team over there. I feel pretty good about this lineup. And the beauty is we do have depth. We have a strong starting lineup, and we're kind of hitting from every angle here. And just really the whole point is it just gives you an idea that, yeah, you can build a very balanced, deep, and high upside lineup, even with the number 1 pick. You just got to look for the spots like as things change within the draft and make sure that you are kind of adapting on the fly. Absolutely, as you go, you can talk yourself in and out of certain picks. You can, keep going at a certain position just because the value is insane. I kind of did that at one point in the draft here. I grabbed 2 wide receivers and Olave and Waddle, even though certainly you could argue that I could have picked up a tight end at that point, or I could have picked up another running back or what have you. But the point is to be a little bit fluid, especially when you're picking out of the number 1 slot. But overall, we got a pretty good score here, and I'm pretty happy with the team we came away with. But in general, that is the approach I would like to keep coming out of the number 1 spot. Any other questions, hit me in the comments below, and hopefully this kind of thing helps you get ready for your draft. I'm going to be hitting videos like this, touching on what you can do and what's going to be coming at you out of every single slot, going from picks 1 through 12, just to help standard drafters leading into the new year. Of course, what we usually do on this channel is DFS. So if you want NFL DFS help, every week of the year, and not just NFL, we cover just about everything. You can hit up our Patreon, just $5.99 a month to get access to that, as well as our Discord. All right, thanks for watching, and good luck this year.